you are a high-fashion humble admirer, you have probably experienced this awkward feeling when you are wandering around a Louis Vuitton store, just to feast your eyes upon some trendy designs and color schemes in the new collection, while about 10 shopping assistants are shadowing you in eager anticipation, from time to time asking whether you are looking for classic models or recent collaboration pieces. After a few minutes of this increasing pressure, you feel like you don't belong here and should probably go now. Hence, you weren't really planning to drop 10 grand on Louis Vuitton's new micro bag anyway. Sounds familiar, right? Or for those of you who don't even dare to enter these stores because there are buff guards at the doorway, dressed in expensive suits, and you look like, like it's just a normal weekend and you are at the shopping mall, not Grand Opera. What I'm saying is that luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Hermes or Balenciaga are intentionally keeping you away. They are constructing barriers for you to less likely interact with them, with their brand. These bizarre tactics are a part of carefully planned strategy. So relax, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, except that these brands think you are not worthy to own them. Barriers to prevent from ruining the myth. For starters, let's just define what a brand myth is. It's often described as a unique creative story possessed by all great brands. It is an additional, intangible value provided with the product. I like to think of it as a feeling, a notion, or a statue that you get with the Hermes bag, because there is no linear correlation between quality and the price of luxury piece. Hermes Birkin bag is not magical. It doesn't give you superpowers with it, yet it remains the most expensive and desirable bag of all time. The Birkin bag supply cost is about $500. The rest of the price comes from the intangible asset known as a brand myth. It is a brand myth that provides the foundation of this additional value, the story, the flair, and the powerful feeling. Given that most of the luxury brand's value comes from this intangible asset, it is par for the course for them to protect it from profanation. Let's take a close look at how luxury brands construct barriers or even barricades to protect their brand myth from commoners. This comes down for the following tactics: exterior design, red carpet fences, guards at the doorway, too much attention, and no music. Have you ever noticed that most of the classical luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Dior, or Hermes have very intransparent exterior designs, compared to H&M or Zara, which always have either panoramic windows or none of them? Luxury brands leave you a very little space to peep into the store. It's almost like you're prying into a keyhole. It creates the mystery, the anticipation and curiosity, making you wonder what's inside. This bizarre tactic not only prevents you from window shopping, because luxury brands do not wish to give you even that false sense of ownership, but also creates desire, adoration, and a sense of worship, especially considering the eye-catching, constantly changing decor. Hermes always amazes me with their whimsical installations and almost magical scenes. They rarely have products displayed, and if they do, products are certainly not the center of the composition. Luxury brands push this entry barrier even further by placing those red carpet fences and guards I mentioned earlier. It goes without saying that this particular tactic results in people queuing at the doorsteps of the shop, creating a vast perceived demand. So you would feel like Hermes is even more desirable, yet beyond your reach. Even if you have managed to get through the line and those intimidating guards, you will most certainly be greeted by a shopping assistant, who, by the way, is casually dressed better than you, and asked for your mobile number, name, or preferences for classic or modern models. Then you will try to get rid of them by saying, "Oh, thank you, I'm just browsing." And after pointlessly wandering around for a couple of minutes, you will leave sort of disappointed. But if you've done your homework and will say something like, "I'm looking for classic Waterloo regular fit model at the Burberry store," You will pass the test and from now on will be considered a potential customer. It's almost like a part of hero's journey when you cross a threshold and begin a transformation. But that's definitely a topic for another video. So once I blogged something like that at the Burberry store, I was immediately shown to the private section on the second floor. That's right, most of the luxury brand stores separate customers from spectators in architectural design. They often have second floors which you can enter only from inside the store, and sometimes only by appointment, or secret private rooms for providing exceptional services to the actual customers. Well, finally, luxury brands often have no music inside their stores, so you awkwardly tiptoeing around afraid to make a noise or to sneeze like I sometimes do. Compare this to the lively disco-like music from Bershka. Strategic reasons behind. All of these tricks listed above are part of the strategy. There is a set of rules in managing luxury brand strategy known as anti-laws of marketing by Jean-Noël Capferrer. These anti-laws appear at the first glance quite ostentatious and provocative, yet they capture the very essence of the luxury branding, underpinned by extensive cross-cultural research. These three anti-laws define the necessity for building the imaginary wall in the people's mind. Keep non-enthusiasts out, make it difficult for clients to buy, protect clients from non-clients, the big from the small. Let's discuss each of those in more detail. Keep non-enthusiasts out. When it comes to luxury, trying to make a brand more relevant is to dilute its value, because not only does the brand lose some of its unique features, but also its wider availability erodes the dream potential among the elite, among leaders of opinion. This anti-law simply says that luxury and mass market are the two opposite poles which never meet. And if you try to attract a broader audience, you start moving in the wrong direction, losing your focus. Make it difficult for clients to buy. Luxury brand is something that has to be earned. The greater inaccessibility, whether actual or virtual, the greater the desire. Luxury product is not a low-hanging fruit, it's a dream. It's not designed to meet everyday needs. It doesn't have to be as accessible as commodity. Apparently, you don't need any of luxury products. Nobody does, because it's not a necessity. But somehow, the strongest desire and passion exist among many of us. Protect clients from non-clients, the big from the small. Modern luxury works on open-close principle. Too much open is harmful to the brand's social function. This is the least transparent anti-law, as it is based on Capferrer's theory introduced in the early chapters of Luxury Strategy book, and often missed out with a great deal of point. This theory explains the restoration of the lost social hierarchy and stratification as the mission or social function of luxury. But let's simplify this a bit. I like the following analogy. There is a similar protective element over the sacred nature of a medieval monarchy. It was a common belief that the ruler had divine blessing and was given a power from God. Therefore, his image must be protected from desacralization at all costs. And if a commoner would have seen a king take a dump in the middle of the street, he would hardly ever believe in the king's divine nature. The monarchy would be vulgarized and lose authority and power. Getting back from Middle Ages to the modern world, we can see these protective tactics in very different luxury brand strategies. For example, BMW keeps non-enthusiasts out by knowingly targeting only accounts for 20% of the premium segment of the population. That's only 1 in 5 people. This means that 80% are not at all attracted by the values of BMW. The brand has preferred to exclude these 80% and base the growth on its true target, those who wholeheartedly share its values. Or brands like Ferrari and Hermes constructing entry-level barriers to make it difficult for clients to buy. For example, there is a set of eccentric rules enforced by Ferrari to make it more difficult to buy a new car. You have to already own at least 4 vintage vehicles, own no Lamborghinis, and participate in all of the brand events you get the invitation for. And still, even if you comply with all of the rules, there is a chance that Ferrari just refuses you the ownership of their vehicle. And to buy a Birkin bag directly from Hermes, you must have a purchasing history of at least $10,000 there. What's even more interesting, brands push this logic even further. Some brands like Porsche do not wish to produce too many products. Their CEO says, "When I see 2 Porsches in the same street, I begin to worry." My favorite thought from Kupferer's book explains the strategic reasons about this weird concern. The dream must always be recreated and sustained, for reality kills the dream. Every time a flesh and blood human being buys a luxury product, they destroy a little bit of the equity. They increase the product's visibility and contribute to its vulgarization by putting it in the public eye. Since this brand myth is so close to the sacral matter, as we saw before, it undoubtedly exists in an ethereal world beyond tangible. Every time a product takes a physical, palpable form, it destroys a tiny piece of the brand myth. Luxury becomes close to religion and operates with the same concepts. Just like in the case with luxury stores, you can't enter a temple out of curiosity. You have to be a believer. There are enormous statues installed at the doorway of ancient temples, gargoyles at Gothic churches to influence you with the fear of all-powered gods, to remind you of humans' mortal nature and relative to the age of universe, brief life. But along with this formidable grandeur comes the possibility for a tiny human to get closer than they normally would to the eternal dream. There is so much more to say about these inner connections of brand myth, art and religion, but in today's video I wanted to show you how luxury brands construct the barriers to protect their brand myth. Now you know that these eccentric tactics have nothing to do with obnoxious behavior. Next time you'll see people queuing at the doorway of Louis Vuitton, you might slyly show off your knowledge by saying, "This brand is not a snob, they just protect their brand myth by keeping it from profanation," and just mysteriously walk off into the sunset. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned something new today, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. This will help me grow and share more interesting ideas with you.